Like now we are going through a rotting process.
Oh, yeah.
And that rotting process is what we see happening. Some of the most sensitive things which ordinarily nobody who has any common sense would think would happen. But they are happening.
Okay.
So we as we notice what is happening, we must also keep working on the new order that emerges. I have seen, I don't know how far they have gone with this attempt, for example, to do away with the leader of opposition and elect. That's the most idiotic thing that anybody who has any sense in their heads would be trying to do.
I mean, say that one more time, Mugisha Muntu. That's what?
I have seen, I don't know how far they have gone with this attempt, for example, to do away with the leader of opposition and elect. That's the most idiotic thing that anybody who has any sense in their heads would be trying to do.
I mean, you tell me, is he trying to say that Muhoozi Kainerugaba is an idiot? I mean, you let me know what you think. Here's the thing. This is what he's referring to. This is Muhoozi Kainerugaba. If you want to go on and read with me right here. He says, I have instructed Patriotic League of Uganda. There's nothing patriotic about what Muhoozi does, but all charlatans usually refer to themselves as holy, patriotic, you know. Joseph Kony used to refer to himself as Lord's Resistance Army Leader as they're cutting off people's mouths and stuff. So there's nothing patriotic about Muhoozi. But he says, I have instructed PLU to study how to remove Joel Ssenyonyi from being leader of opposition as soon as possible. Are you kidding me? Then he went on to say, I want a new leader of opposition in parliament and I will get him. He will be endorsed by me. Mugisha Muntu says, this is the most idiotic thing someone can think of.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Uganda's political temperature has just gone up another notch. Now, you might be wondering, Mordecai, what do you mean? Are you just being hyperbole? Absolutely not. I'm not exaggerating in any way. Then you might ask, so now what? Well, it looks like a former commander of the Defense Forces of Uganda and the current leader of the Alliance for National Transformation, the retired Major General Gregory Mugisha Muntu has launched a blistering attack on the current commander of Uganda's Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who happens to be a neighbor baby for Museveni's son, if you may. And why is he launching this blistering attack? Is specifically directing at his proposal to abolish the office of the leader of opposition in parliament, a move many believe is aimed squarely at NUP's Joel Ssenyonyi. In unusually blunt language, Muntu warned that Uganda is in, quote, a rotting process where increasingly senseless things are becoming normal. I think there's no lie detected there. He then described the proposal to scrap the leader of opposition as the most idiotic thing. The statement immediately ignited a political storm, especially on social media. The question was Muntu condemning Muhoozi's proposal as idiotic? Or was he sending an unmistakable message to the man behind it, Muhoozi Kainerugaba? Was he saying Muhoozi is an idiot? I mean, not to say yes or no, but what do you think? If a man brags in the abduction, torturing, and killing of innocent people, isn't that person deserving to be called an idiot? You tell me. Either way, if you think yes or no, or at least one thing we're getting out of this is one of Uganda's most measured and respected political figures has delivered one of the strongest public rebukes yet to Muhoozi, or of Muhoozi's growing influence over the country's political direction. So what we do in this commentary is break down Mugisha Muntu's explosive remarks, examine why Muhoozi Kainerugaba wants to eliminate the office of the leader of opposition and ask whether Uganda is witnessing an unprecedented assault on one of the country's most important democratic institutions. Now, you might be like, Mordecai, why are you referring to it as democratic, yet it hasn't been since when? After the amending the Constitution to remove the term limits, 2005? Yeah. Regardless, we look at it, we want to fix it, okay? So let's go and listen to Mugisha Muntu's remarks, and I'll be giving him a breakdown.
You know, we are in a rotting process. That's maybe another thing we all need to know.
I've had people tell me that I resemble Mugisha Muntu. Do I? Or am I just being Delulu? I could be.
Nothing happens by accident in life. There are laws which govern life as it is, natural laws. I keep using an example, say, look at a bean or a maize seed. You plant it, put under the soil. Before new life emerges, it has to rot. When it rots, a new bean emerges and it produces more beans than the one which has rotten. Now, the only difference in lives, the political, social lives of human beings, is that you know how long the bean is going to go through the rotting process. You know, in 7 days, it will have germinated. Now, the rotting process, for example, in governance, you can't know when the rotting is going to end.
For sure, it really is.
But it rots. Like now, we are going through a rotting process.
Oh, yeah.
And that rotting process is what we see happening. Some of the most sensitive things which ordinarily nobody who has any common sense would think would happen. But they are happening.
Okay.
So we as we notice what is happening, we must also keep working on the new order that emerges. I have seen, I don't know how far they have gone with this attempt, for example, to do away with the leader of opposition and elect. That's the most idiotic thing that anybody who has any sense in their heads would be trying to do.
I mean, say that one more time, Mugisha Muntu. That's what?
I have seen, I don't know how far they have gone with this attempt, for example, to do away with the leader of opposition and elect. That's the most idiotic thing that anybody who has any sense in their heads would be trying to do.
I mean, you tell me, is he trying to say that Muhoozi Kainerugaba is an idiot? I mean, you let me know what you think. Here's the thing. This is what he's referring to. This is Muhoozi Kainerugaba. If you want to go on and read with me right here. He says, I have instructed Patriotic League of Uganda. There's nothing patriotic about what Muhoozi does, but all charlatans usually refer to themselves as holy, patriotic, you know. Joseph Kony used to refer to himself as Lord's Resistance Army Leader as they're cutting off people's mouths and stuff. So there's nothing patriotic about Muhoozi. But he says, I have instructed PLU to study how to remove Joel Ssenyonyi from being leader of opposition as soon as possible. Are you kidding me? Then he went on to say, I want a new leader of opposition in parliament and I will get him. He will be endorsed by me. Mugisha Muntu says, this is the most idiotic thing someone can think of. And rightly so. I mean, you want yes men in a parliament? Not even a semblance of opposition? Like I've said, these people, the NRM and Muhoozi group have how many people? Like 300 or 400 members of parliament? And you are not okay with only one man opposing what you say? I mean, how convicted are you with your ideologies? If you're threatened by one man, Joel Ssenyonyi, it is stupid. It is idiotic, just like this gentleman is saying.
Because a leader of opposition belongs to a majority party. By law, even by practice, anywhere you go in the rest of the world.
Exactly.
A leader of opposition shadows the prime minister, who is the leader of government business. A prime minister is not voted for, is appointed by the ruling party. The moment you say that a leader of opposition should be voted for by the whole parliament,
The same by opposition and independent MPs.
Okay, opposition and independent MPs. Now, suppose they elect, like, we have only one member of parliament. Like Kent, you have one member of parliament. And then they elect him to be the leader of opposition. That would be idiotic.
Now, that is selflessness right there. He says, I don't care whether it is me, whether they elected my member of parliament from the Alliance for National Transformation. No, I don't care. We have to go with the party that has the majority from the opposition. That is selflessness right there.
Because this is a link to a population and their rights in terms of voting, regardless of the manipulation of the voting process and the rest. But the moment you have a majority party which has majority in the opposition, it is its mandate to be the one to do what? To have a leader of opposition in parliament.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, amazing. That's what we call selflessness. Country before self. That's what you see. Now, let's go here. He made a very good point. I watched the entire podcast and I liked where he asked a question that, Museveni is going to be out of power very soon. But after he's left, now what?
Anybody who was in a... of course, the change, one thing that I really hope that anybody who was in a...
brain
understanding can see visibly that there will be change. Clearly, change will happen. I only think that what is not known is the how and the when, but it will happen.
Yep,
it will happen. They are all signals to that effect. And to me, by the way, that has never been my biggest issue because I always known that change is a constant. To me, the main issue would be when change happens, which it will, then what?
Good question.
Would it happen when it would be organized enough to break out of the vicious cycle? And therefore,
oh my, what a brilliant, brilliant autopsy. Museveni is going to go. But the problem we've had always with these autocrats is usually it happens and it finds the masses not prepared enough to start a new chapter. Or if they are organized enough, they elect or ascend the worst amongst this group that has led the war to become their leader. Like you might argue that many folks, like I've said, many folks who joined Museveni to go wage a war against Milton Obote, many of them were educated, the likes of Mugisha Muntu, the likes of Chiza Besigye, and the others, the Mama Mbabazi, the Kahamba Kutesa, the Matthew Ruchikire, those who practically or literally participated, held guns, the Kaindo Tafire, and the rest of others, the elites who were behind. You had reasonable people. But the problem that happened is immediately after they came to power, they were not as, I don't want to say courageous, maybe they were so gracious, they thought that Museveni was really convicted to the ideologies that they were fighting for during the war. So they were like, he won't abandon these principles because somebody should have, stood up to him and be like, hey, you won't do this. We've shed blood. You won't do this. But they did. And look, I don't blame them because I've been in situations where I've been manipulated. You give all this trust to this person only for them to disappoint you. Museveni was a charlatan who used these democratic liberal ideas to persuade people to join him, use them as a seduction. He was using them as a mask. And after he ascended to power, he took off the mask and told them, hey, shut up. I never believed in the ideas of constitutionalism, democracy, rule of law, respect to human rights. And that's what we have. So the biggest question that is faced by so many Ugandans as we speak is Museveni is going to go. Muhoozi Kainerugaba is going to go. I don't even care about him. But are we prepared enough? And what are we going to do if we finally ascend another person to the highest office in the land only for them to turn out to be a Museveni or to be Idi Amin Dada? Look, when Idi Amin Dada led a coup that took over power from Milton Obote, who was on international duties, many people were happy. Only for him to come and announce himself life president. That's the same thing with Museveni. That's the same thing with Obote. Obote with his mistakes. And I don't understand. Are we just forgetful? What's it? How would Obote even get like 20% in the 1980 after having led a crisis in the 66 and all his bad politics, including suspending of the constitution? How would he even be given an opportunity to run in 1980? Go away, Milton Obote. So the question now we have is, if and when Museveni leaves power and Muhoozi is not there anymore, are our people confident enough, courageous enough to stand up against anybody who will try to manipulate them or announce themselves as life president or I am chosen, I am indispensable, like that nonsense of Museveni? That's the question.
For take a new route, or is there likelihood that there can be change and we still remain in the vicious cycle?
That's the problem. We've been in the vicious cycle.
Me, that has always been my concern.
A brilliant concern. Look, when I had a conversation with Bobby Wine in Massachusetts, this is what he told me. I read to him some of the ideas from Museveni's own published book, Sowing the Mustard Seed. This is what Museveni said.
Let me tell you.
Listen to what Bobby Wine said.
Attention to something here, and I want to read you a line from Museveni's book. This is What is Africa's Problems? And I want to read you a line here, and let me know what you think. He writes, respect for human rights. Then he goes on to say, the Ugandan government, other than NRM, begins first and foremost with unwavering commitment to respect human rights and the sanctity of human life. Mm-hmm. This is Mr. Museveni writing.
That is Museveni writing when he still had his brain in the right place.
Oh. So where is his brain? Please, Mr. President, tell me, where is Museveni's brain now? Because then it was in the right place. So where is it now? Are you trying to say that he exchanged brain? What is here is now here, and what is here? You tell me. Tell me, how do I interpret what he just said? Listen here.
Human rights and the sanctity of human life. Mm-hmm. This is Mr. Museveni writing.
That is Museveni writing when he still had his brain in the right place.
Okay, he swapped brains, places of brains. Where is it? Is it in his feet? Is it in his armpits? Where is it? Because this clearly implies that his brain is not here anymore. It is somewhere.
And it scares me, Mordecai. You
Exactly.
see, Museveni, when he was my age, he was speaking just like I am speaking, mm-hmm. even more eloquent. Mm-hmm. But there's this line that power corrupts.
Yep.
And absolute power
Corrupts, absolutely.
Exactly. So that is where we are. That is why we must never believe in individuals, not even in myself.
Good,
we
brilliant.
must believe in ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And we must, having, diagnosed the problem through all these wonderful books that were written by those people, when they still had their brains in the right place, we must guard and immunize against that. That's why I always say that the first thing I want to do when I become president is to make sure I don't stay president.
Brilliant.
Oh, how'd you do that?
And nobody ever gets that liberty to stay president. We do that by empowering institutions, not the individuals, institutions that can also call you to order or put you to order, you as a leader. Empowering the people, not individuals, so that these people reserve the right, just like they raised you, they reserve the right to put you down when you go against what you and them believe in collectively, what brought you together.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. That's what my problem is. Were there not enough people to bring Museveni to order? Why did Museveni sort of was put on this pedestal almost to a point of being worshipped? Look, I don't worship no man. Zero. I don't care whether you have $1 billion. I don't care. I have special respect for men who stand up for ideas and principles and values. When I say men, I mean people. I'm not referring to only males. No, people. I have special respect for them, but that doesn't make me want to put them on a certain pedestal and look them as anything special. No, they go through the same process I go through. They hurt, they cry, they go to use the bathroom, all of them. So I don't care. But you realize that many ostensibly educated, even up to now, you have people who serve in the Museveni cabinet, almost his age mates, but they refer to him as Muzeyi. Muzeyi for what? I mean, you are almost in the same age bracket. That Matia Kasaija. We have to talk to Muzeyi. He's not Muzeyi, he's your brother. Why do you call him Muzeyi? You see women who are in their 70s and 60s calling Janet Kataha, mama. If I said that, you would understand probably. She's a granny to me. If I said grandmother, Janet Kataha, it's understandable. But she's your sister. And now don't hide into this. She's the first lady. That's... No. So, I don't understand why these people... And of course, I'm not saying all of them because the likes of Mugisha Muntu, Chiza Besigye, and others really immediately abandoned him. The likes of Amelia Matembe were like, okay, we're not putting up with this nonsense. But they were not enough in numerical strength to send a message to Museveni. Many of them still identified with him and are still identifying with him as they even when they see the country in this complete and utter turmoil, they still identify with Museveni. What's wrong with these people? Were they convicted to these ideas in the first place, or theirs was always to accumulate more wealth, proximity to power, have influence? I understand they have it, the likes of super minister, mama and babas, that nonsense. What does it change if you're in this, in the words of Jimmy Akena, in all these trampings where you have bodyguards and they have guns? That's all nonsense. Isn't it even funny if you read about the great men like the Napoleon Bonaparte, the Metternich, the Alexander the Great, name them, the Genghis Khan who have done horrible stuff, and you want to do horrible stuff and you're leading Uganda? Come on. Was it Martin Luther? Not Martin Luther King Jr., but Martin Luther, the religious leader, who said that if you sin, I'm paraphrasing, sin boldly. If you decide to be a murderer, do it. Kill the entire nation. But Museveni wants to pretend like he's a Democrat and at the same time he's a tyrant. A lost man. Let me know what you think. That's Mugisha Muntu for you. I truly enjoyed it. I'm going to go on and probably do another commentary about the same podcast, but I think it was really, really brilliant for him to point out how idiotic Muhoozi's idea is. I love it. Inject that in my veins. My name is Mordecai Morisa. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and invite others to join us. I immensely appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.